Yo, what's good, everybody, man? It's your boy Kobe. Mig. She's today, y'all. We have Mafia, the Old County exclusive hands-on preview by IGN. So essentially, somebody's going to be playing. I think this video, if I'm not mistaken, is going to be 15 minutes long, man. 15 minutes long, which I don't know if we're going to watch the whole video. We'll see. But essentially, we got a guy that actually got hands-on to this game, that's playing it. And he's going to just be going over a couple of things. Now, I can't wait for this game to come out, man. I'm telling y'all, man, I'm definitely hoping that this game lives up to its expectation. Mafia 3 was good. Mafia 2 was good. And also, the OG Mafia, the first one. But I really enjoyed Mafia 3 because you could be stealthy. And, you know, that boy... What was his name? Lincoln Clay. In Mafia 3, that boy was a soldier. But I'm not, like I said again, like in my previous Mafia video, Mafia 3 is hands down the best Mafia game I've ever played. You know, that game had a lot of like racist comments and stuff. If you guys ever played Mafia 3 when it first came out, they were saying the N-word, they were saying all types of stuff, man. Like, it just made me actually feel like I was in those times for real, playing as Lincoln Clay. And that's one thing that I definitely like. You know, not discriminating, but you know, white people not liking colored people. Like, it made me feel like I was really living during that time. You know what I'm saying? The way Mafia did it, the way 2K did that whole entire Mafia 3 was amazing. And I know with Mafia 3 too, they ended up coming out with an update, I believe, a couple of weeks later or something like that, because it was just too violent. The language was strong. I mean, absolutely strong. The game was so strong, you know, like when you go to GameStop or something, or you're going to a retail store and you're trying to buy a rated M game, and you're not old enough, and you got your parent with you, and you know, as soon as you're about to pay that money for that game, here goes the employee, man. He wants to explain everything about the game, having sexual content, killing, drugs, sex, money, all that stuff. It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. You about to make me not get this game, bro. Like, keep your mouth closed, man. But anyways, man, Mafia 3 was definitely that game. I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. But they just ruined it when they came out with that update. But I understand why they came out with that update, because it was just... There's so many racial slurs on that game, and easily people would have got offended, easily. But I definitely enjoyed that game because of it, because it made me feel like I was actually living during those times, which I actually might play Mafia 3 again. Speaking about Mafia 3, I gotta do a walkthrough on that. But I gotta finish GTA 4, and I gotta finish Death Stranding before we're even able to get to Mafia. But I do know Mafia the Old County is going to come out, which I think is going to be August 8th, I believe. August 8th, so it's right around the corner. I know they have the definitive edition or whatever. The most expensive edition is going to be $60. The lowest edition is going to be $50, which is fairly cheap. But anyways, man, let's get right into it. This guy's going to just walk us through this game and talk about it a little bit.
Down to play about 3 hours of Mafia the Old Country.
I keep saying County Country, my bad, y'all.
Repeatedly mentioned his team's desire for players to finish this prequel story. And so with that goal in mind, the latest Mafia game turns back the clock both chronologically, it's set in the early 1900s in Sicily, and in game design as well. Mafia 3, though very good, went full open world.
Yes.
And the developers seem to feel similarly about it in hindsight as players did. It just didn't fit Mafia well. The first two Mafias were gorgeous, narrative-driven, linear games set against the backdrop of a stunning and highly detailed world that, while explorable, really only existed as a beautiful backdrop for your...
You remember in Mafia 2 when you got locked up? I forgot what the character name was, man. It's been so long, but essentially you got locked up for doing all the things that you was doing, terrorizing the city, killing and stuff. And then, I think it was Mafia 2. I don't think it was Mafia 1. I believe it was Mafia 2. And then when you got out the pen, I don't know, like 10, 15 years later, however long you was in there, everything around you, like that whole entire environment was different. Different cars. Just the city had changed entirely, man. And you just knew you was locked up for a while. And I like how they did that. I think it was Mafia 2. When you got locked up and then essentially years and years later, everything just pretty much changed. You know, it was dope. I fucked with it.
Main mission, rather than trying to keep you busy with menial tasks and side quests. In fact, Bain seemed to suggest that the positive reception to 2020's remake of the first game, Mafia Definitive Edition, served as something of an inspiration to and North Star 4, this fourth entry in the mainline series. I'm pleased to report that after playing through chapters 3, 4, and 5 of The Old Country, the development team has seemingly succeeded in returning Mafia to its gameplay roots. This is, like Mafia 1 and 2, a story-first, not open-world action-adventure. And interestingly, your primary upgradable weapon isn't a gun, though they are certainly here, but rather your knife. Stealth is fully supported, and even better, it's only going to be $50 at launch, or as I like to call it, a reverse Randy Pitchford price tag.
Which I fuck with. And then with they prices too, that's definitely gonna bring in more of an audience. So you're like, oh well, this game's not that expensive. You know, you're not charging $70 or $80 like games nowadays. You're literally charging either $50 for the standard, or for the definitive edition, you're charging not 70, but 60. So you're either gonna pay 50 or 60. It just depends on which edition you want to get. But I think if you pay the 60, it doesn't really come with all that much stuff. I can't remember what exactly it comes with, but I'm definitely gonna be going for the 60, which I can't wait.
When I first picked up the controller, playing on a high-end PC, which is where the footage you're seeing here came from, it's the early 1900s and late teenager Enzo Favara has recently escaped the sulfur mines he spent his childhood laboring in and started to become his own free man while working in the vineyard of Don Teresi, a Sicilian mafioso who protects the people and property of the region from the thieving bandits that lurk in the hills, in exchange for monthly protection payments, of course.
A pleasure, as always.
I really like how The Old Country tries to depict Enzo's progression from a very innocent kid into a bound by blood, fully vetted member of the Teresi outfit who's got the green light to do anything he thinks needs to be done for the good of the family. We see this play out in Chapter 3, where Enzo's first taste of life outside the vineyard with the Teresis comes when he's brought along on a series of collections by Luca, the Don's right-hand man, and Cesare, another made member of the family. Luca and Cesare are essentially the mafioso version of an angel and devil on your shoulders, where Luca preaches patience and using violence only as a last resort, while Cesare is more of a shoot first and ask questions later.
I fuck with that.
We let him act tough in front of the boy.
And then we remind him of his obligations.
For example,
Please tell me that this game is gonna be decision making. Please, like that, and then depending on the decisions and stuff that you make is gonna affect your relationship with each of the individuals, and also just the change of a storyline. Like, just if I go this path, I want to have a different ending. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just have the same ending as everybody else based off the choices and stuff that I make. So I hope that they actually inquire that in this game.
On our first collection stop, we visited Marco, an olive farmer. Marco always pays on time, but on this occasion, he's late. Luca gives me an unloaded gun to be used only as an intimidation tactic to get Marco to pay up.
Yours is unloaded. You give him a chance to be brave.
But Cesare told me, quote, an extra pair of hands helps jog their memory about the late payment. Side note, I think I saw more fruit in the 3 hours of playing Mafia the Old Country than I've seen in any game ever. We might need a new Game Awards category for this. Ultimately, no bullets were fired nor punches thrown, and I got the Don's money from Marco's safe after finding the combination nearby. I appreciate that Hangar 13 put thought into Enzo's journey into the Teresi crime family here, and didn't just instantly let you become a murdering psychopath. Things escalated slightly on our second stop, though, after we rode our horses across the Sicilian countryside to the farm of Mr. Bangalino, whose workers, led by a man named Manuela, are on strike.
We can't have strikes around here, Manuele. You and your friends need to get back to work.
By the way, I can't emphasize how much I enjoyed staring at the countryside while riding to each destination on this mission. Mafia: The Old Country ditches the proprietary engine it's used in all 3 previous Mafia games and moves to Unreal Engine 5 for this installment. To be fair, the previous engine was no slouch. Mafia 2 in particular was a strikingly good-looking game at the time it came out, and Unreal maintains the series' reputation.
Like how they got the horses too.
The perfect blue skybox and
you know, had the old model cars on here, like the old model cars in the 1900s.
Job of establishing the Old Country's Sicilian setting. I can't wait to see more of this world in the rest of the campaign.
I hope the combat is smooth though.
Manuela pulled
Speaking
a
about
knife,
combat, okay.
introducing me to what is, as I mentioned earlier, perhaps the weapon that Mafia: The Old.
So you got B for slash, Y for thrust, RB for strike, A is the dodge, and X is the parry.
Country puts the most importance on. You
You
can
wanna just
unlock and
Manuel.
earn new knives, and each has unique modifying properties, giving you a reason beyond the cosmetic appearance of each blade to choose a specific one that suits your combat preferences. You've got a lot of moves in a knife fight: thrusts, slashes, parries, and dodges. Like in the Batman Arkham games, heavy attacks can't be parried and must instead be dodged.
Hey!
And there was still one final collection errand to run in Chapter 3, and as you may have guessed by now, the cannoli hit the fan on this one. A visit to a farmer named Fichera sees him yell at us in a reversal because his new water pump was stolen by bandits, and the protection he pays Don Teresi handsomely for didn't protect his valuable property. It's finally here that the patient Luca tells Enzo that he's got free reign to put live ammo in his gun and not be afraid to pull the trigger, as these lawless bandits were effectively putting their hands in the Don's pocket by stealing from Fichera.
We can't have that.
This leads to a hunt up the hillside through 2 separate bandit camps before we finally squared off with, and shot many bullets into, the dozen or so wayward thieves that stood between us and the water pump they stole.
So you got bandages and stuff that you can use. You only gonna have a certain amount of them.
Shooting gameplay will be
You definitely gonna have to find them
recognizable not just to Mafia
within game.
series regulars, but also anyone who's played a good third-person action game in the past decade. The Old Country isn't breaking the mold.
These guys
here,
gonna have
but
so
the
much
gameplay
kick.
systems are comfortable, effective,
Oh my
and
goodness.
fun. Less comfortable, at least for me, was the cutscene that followed the death of the last of the bandits when Cesare cuts off the finger.
Oh
of the
my
bandit,
goodness, that's
takes
nasty.
his gold ring as a bonus payment for his troubles,
Ugh.
and tosses the detached digit into the well.
Could be pure gold.
He's got no use for it now.
Enzo,
Forbidden love.
Isabella.
With all of your onboarding completed in Chapter 3, the next section of Mafia: The Old Country saw one massive mission play out, involving the Don's daughter Isabella, who Enzo clearly has reciprocated feelings for,
keep an eye on me. You'll be lucky if you can keep up.
and Gennaro, the son of Baron Fontanella, who's arguably an even bigger fish in the Sicilian mafioso sea than Don Teresi is. Gennaro wants to show off his fancy new car, and he also wants to woo Isabella, so he sets up a picnic date in the nearby ruins. It starts with Enzo having to babysit the gathering and ends with a kidnapping, a car chase involving you on a horse, a trail of bodies left in Enzo's wake, a stabbed, double-crossing business partner, a happy Don Teresi, and an even more smitten with Enzo, Isabella. It started quietly, with Gennaro driving Cesare in his car to the ruins, and Isabella insisting on riding there on horseback alongside Enzo. Yes, you'll be able to choose and ride your own horse in Mafia: The Old Country, with each steed even having its own personality and
Is it
characteristics.
going to be more horse riding or is it going to be more vehicle
Didn't
riding?
necessarily seem like your choice of horse would materially affect gameplay.
The horses and stuff is reminding me of Red Dead.
But it was a welcome way to add a bit of life and meaning to the narrative nevertheless.
Here we are.
A pit stop en route to the ruins showed off
Bro,
the
look at
camera
this view.
to take pictures of scenic spots.
Amazing.
Have you ever used one of these before?
Unfortunately, it was the only opportunity I had to use it in the 3 hours I played, but hopefully you get to use it semi-regularly over the course of the campaign. You're
That's
also
dope.
introduced
Everything's
to the
black and
driving
white.
mechanics
Okay.
of the old country after you rendezvous with Cesare and Isabella in the form of a low-stakes race around the ruins, perhaps a nod to one of Mafia 1's most infamous missions. But while Cesare
Oh
and
yeah, I remember
Enzo
that
are
racing in
messing around
Mafia
with
1 where you
Gennaro's
had
car
to win
during
in that
his date with
racetrack.
Isabella,
That was terrible.
bandits, I won't spoil their identity here, swooped in with guns blazing and kidnapped them both. They were really only after Gennaro, and having to take Isabella as well proved to be, well, you can imagine it ended up complicating things severely for the kidnappers. I got to wield a shotgun in this segment and found that it packed a satisfying
Oh, you gotta be
punch.
close with that shotgun.
There was no
Can't be shooting that far. I
bringing
got a
knife
little bit of
or
range.
Stealth chokeouts to a gunfight
Yeah,
here.
don't bring knives to a
Brought Enzo
gunfight.
in with an itchy trigger finger.
And I like how the combat is real
Chase,
too. You
I was
can't
able to
just
run
run and
down their
gun.
wagon and gun down
You
plenty
gotta
of
fight
the
smart, but we're gonna be doing a lot of
kidnapping
stealthy
pirates
stuff.
and rescue Isabella. who
I ain't trying to draw a lot of
rewarded Enzo with a
attention.
kiss. Don't tell the Don.
Definitely can't be drawing a lot of attention,
But while
man.
Cesare
Definitely gonna be
brought
stealthy.
Isabella back home,
We might go
Enzo
guns
still
blazing
had to get Gennaro
in
back,
certain situations.
because returning without either one would leave Enzo equally dead from either father. It's this section that allowed me to really unleash my inner Sam Fisher, as it was set up for stealth rather nicely.
So
in
you
an
can
open
use
area,
coins and
where I
bottles
can
and
pick
throw.
my path and remain undetected.
I like that.
If you give me a stealth option in a game, I'm gonna
taking
take
it.
it 9
Absolutely.
times out of 10, and Mafia: The Old Country was no different. The developers later told me that they don't expect most players to make it through the entire area, which was admittedly quite large and stocked with a ton of bad guys, without alerting anyone. I took this as a personal challenge, and while I
Damn.
held out for quite a while, eventually I
Oh
did
my
get
goodness.
spotted and had to start shooting. But while you are in the Old Country's stealth segments, basic Splinter Cell rules are in effect.
Oh yeah, I fuck
Crouch
with
to
that.
make less noise, throw coins or picked up objects like bottles to distract bad guys, and can either knife them quickly or try to strangle them unconscious, which triggers a button-mashing QTE you've got to be quick about, lest they slip out of your grasp. There are even conveniently placed empty containers
Ah, so
around
just
that
like
you can hide
Hitman.
the bodies in so that
Just
they're not
like
discovered.
Hitman.
The Old Country doesn't break any new ground here, but in my experience, it does familiar stealth gameplay reasonably well. I do appreciate that there are upgradable bead slots on your rosary that affect gameplay, like this one that dampens the sound of your footsteps. And I appreciated those dampened footsteps until I reached the last man standing for the kidnappers, Messina, whose real story you'll learn when you play the game yourself. Enzo challenged him to a knife fight, which Messina accepted by dropping his gun and engaging Enzo on his terms. I was having trouble timing my parries just right in the ensuing battle, but I kept enough blood in Enzo's body for him to emerge as the victor in the fight. Side note, I died a couple times during my 3 hours while playing on normal, but there are multiple difficulty levels to choose from if you want to ratchet things up or down. And after returning to the vineyard, Don Teresi, after hearing of Isabella's kidnapping, tells Enzo he wants Messina alive.
You put the rest of those bastards in the ground. Messina, you bring back to me alive.
Whoops. Yeah, about that. But ultimately, I did good, the boss said, and Isabella made her feelings quite clear with the smile on her face directed at Enzo.
Home invasion.
Chapter 5, the final one I got to play, let me again flex my stealth muscles by tasking me with infiltrating the home of the man ultimately responsible for calling for the Gennaro, and by collateral damage extension, Isabella kidnapping, and dragging him out of his house and back to my boss. Or, put another way, to kidnap the kidnapper. This mission could truly have been pulled straight from a Splinter
You got a
Cell
big
game,
ass house, too.
as I had my choice of ways up the hillside
The
to
villa.
a large villa at the top. I kept it quiet, stabbing my way through the human obstacles in front of me before eventually getting into the house and to
It's
my
looking
target.
good, though,
I
man.
wouldn't be
It's
so
looking
lucky
good.
on the way out, though, as by the time I walked out with my target in tow, everyone still left
Damn.
standing knew what was going on.
That boy
and I
doing
had
work
to
with that
shoot
knife.
my way out. As to what happened to that
Headshots
man I
definitely
brought
gonna
to
be
the
key.
Don, well,
Dynamite.
you'll find out.
Damn.
I left my extended hands-on session with Mafia: The Old Country with very few concerns. In roughly 3 hours, I played 3 chapters, but how many chapters are there? Whatever the number is, it didn't feel like a story that was going to be wrapped up in a tidy 6 hours. I don't know how long The Old Country ultimately is, but when factoring in the studio president's comment about wanting everyone to see the end credits roll, as well as the $50 price tag, it's safe to presume that this won't be a 40 or even 30-hour game. But for my money, that's fine. I'm a dad with a job. I'm good with Mafia: The Old Country being a game I can get through in a weekend or two. And more importantly, I'm now quite confident I'm going to have a lot of fun playing through this one, however long it lasts.
I think it'd probably be like a 15-hour game.
Mechanics are all solid if familiar, with enjoyable stealth,
I like how you can throw knives though. That shit fire.
Combat, and driving. And perhaps the most important ingredient in a Mafia game, the story, had me engaged and eager to see where it was gonna go. It'll be good to get back to a Mafia 1 and 2 vibe again. It's been a long time. For more on Mafia: The Old Country, don't miss our exclusive gameplay.
I think Enzo or Isabel are gonna die. I just got a feeling.
From last week, as well as the official story trailer. And for everything else,
I got a feeling.
games, cruise on over.
But that's Mafia: Old Country, man. I hope you guys enjoy it. Now, like I said again, man, it definitely looks good, man. It's definitely gonna feel like we're in that Mafia 1, Mafia 2 setting, as what they were saying. Like, it's just gonna really just be story-based telling. The guy was even saying too, he don't know how long the game is gonna be, especially with a $50 price tag, or even if you want to pay that $60 price tag. But yeah, I can't wait, man. This looks promising. I need to get my hands on this to give you guys an idea on how this game really is going to be. And like I said, gameplay could be just, it could look phenomenal, but when you play it could be ass. You know, that's just unfortunate, and games have done that in the past. But I got a lot of positive vibes about this game, man. I'm feeling this one. Now, I know I said it about Mind's Eye. I don't even know how I even let Mind's Eye do that shit to me, man. Mind's Eye looked good in the gameplay trailers and stuff, but when I played that shit, that was probably one of the assest games of all time. Like, one of the assest games of all time. I mean, I had to deal with it and I had to go through it, but I like the storyline for Mind's Eye. But Mind's Eye, just as a whole, that gameplay was ass. And if you guys didn't get that game, good, because you guys saved a lot of time and also money. Anyways, man, with all that being said, man, this was Mafia: The Old Country exclusive hands-on preview by IGN. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. But with all that being said, man, it's your boy Kobe, and I'm gonna see y'all boys, and I see y'all boys. Peace. Sheesh.